Hey everyone, so with some big base miles coming up now this off season, training's getting long. I want to show you one of my favorite ways to fuel on the bike, and it's rice cakes. On the long rides, it's really hard for your stomach to digest all the gels if you're only eating gels for the entire ride. So I find the rice cakes really, sit well in the stomach on those long rides. So what you'll need is risotto or short grain sticky rice. For this recipe we'll use 500 grams, but risotto works best, or pudding rice or sushi rice. Anything short grain and sticky. Then fructose or normal granulated sugar. I prefer fructose, I think it digests a bit better. Cream cheese, coconut oil, and then what I'm using to flavor the rice cakes is just vanilla paste, dried apple slices, and pecan nuts. And then I'm gonna cook it in a pressure cooker. You can cook the rice as you would normally. We're just gonna cook it in a pressure cooker for time. Then just a normal kitchen scale, measuring cups, and I'm using a Ziploc bag. You can also use a tray to set your rice cakes. Okay, so now I'm just gonna weigh out 500 grams of rice. So this recipe is a full portion. You can very easily do a half portion. I find that works well too. You'll just half everything we're doing now. But yes, so this is just 500 grams of rice and then a liter of water that we'll throw into the pressure cooker. Then we'll get a liter of water. And you can throw in your vanilla paste or extract. Now I'm gonna do 2 caps of vanilla paste. Okay, so just your vanilla, I'm doing a cap and a few pumps of vanilla paste, but this is to taste. So if you prefer a bit of a lighter taste, you don't have to put as much inside. I think this, though, the amount I'm putting in now complements the rice cakes nicely. So just a few pumps of vanilla. You can just stir it up. I'm just gonna grab this wooden spoon. Okay, I'm just gonna stir the water in to absorb into the rice, and just stir the vanilla paste around so that it dissolves a bit into the water. And then we'll set this on 6 minutes at a high temp. Obviously, like I said, if you're just cooking this, you'll just throw in your water and vanilla paste and cook the rice as you would normally. Just quickly before you cook your rice, I forgot, you're going to put in your fructose now, or your granulated sugar, and that will just be 2 tablespoons per this recipe. Like I said, if you're doing a half portion, you can just do a tablespoon. I'm going to do a little bit more because I like it a little bit on the sweeter side. You can now set this on, make sure it's closed, and then I'm just going to set it on high pressure cook, high pressure for 6 minutes. It'll start now. Okay, I'm just going to blitz my apple slices and pecan nuts just so they're a bit smaller, so you're not getting huge chunks in your rice cakes. So I'll just blitz this in a food processor. You can obviously chop it, but the food processor just saves a bit of time. Just a bag of apple slices and a bag of pecan nuts is fine. You can also season your rice cakes however you like. I know a lot of people do Nutella, Oreo. This is just how I like it, not too sweet. Okay, that should be good. The rice is now cooked, so we can add our cream cheese. So this is 250 grams of cream cheese. We'll add that now. Just make sure it's fully incorporated. You can sometimes get chunks of cream cheese if you don't mix it properly, and it's a bit hard to tell, obviously, with the white on white. But just make sure you give it a good mix. And obviously, if you're doing half a portion, just half a packet. So we'll mix in our cream cheese now. We'll stir that through. Then we'll add all our flavorings like our apple slices and pecan nuts. What I forgot to mention, which also goes really well with the rice cakes, is peanut butter. So about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter also really complements it quite nicely. Definitely a good arm workout. Okay, the cream cheese is now fully incorporated. We can now add our apple slices and such, and our coconut oil and peanut butter. So 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, This coconut oil really is some nice good fat that you digest quite well on the bike. So it really helps fuel you on these long rides. And then the peanut butter, just nice to taste. So we'll do about 2 and a bit tablespoons of that. Okay, now we'll stir all of that through. Now everything is fully incorporated. What you can do is take either a not too deep dish tray, and like a rectangular tray, you can fit it in there. I like to use a big Ziploc bag and let it just form into that. So now all we'll do is scoop our rice cake mixture into the Ziploc bag. We can now just make some space. And all we're going to do now is just lay it out flat and form it, flatten it out to make your rice cakes. We'll squeeze out all the air. Just make sure it's nice and even. The rice can still be quite hot, so make sure you don't burn yourself. Once it's nice and even, what you can do is just take something like a ruler, and all you're going to do is just score it. I like to do this, you don't have to. Just score it so that it's a bit easier to cut in the morning when it's set. So just make your lines to guide you where you're going to cut, how large you want them. You can make them however large or small you want. And that's how you make rice cakes. So now we'll just leave these to set overnight. You can either wrap them in tin foil, wax paper, or parchment paper, and then they're ready to go for your next long ride. So just leave an empty shelf in the fridge, and we'll just leave them overnight to set. Now the next day, the rice cakes are rested. I'm going to just show you quickly how I wrap some of them. So all I do now is just nice and simply cut the 2 sides of the bag open, and then you can just fold it out. You can see the score marks I've made, and then you can just cut. And I'll show you also now how to wrap some of them. So let me just cut these. So I've cut some rectangles of parchment paper. Now I'm going to show you how I like to wrap my rice cakes. Learned this on GCN. So you just fold one side over, then fold the other side and make a very little extra fold. This you can use now to hold onto when you want to unfold it. You just, like you would a present, fold in the edges. I'm going to flip it under. And that's how you wrap a rice cake. And now to eat the rice cake.